everybody! So today I've got my friend Jackson to talk to you guys about Harry Potter. Harry Potter is actually the reason why we met.
Yeah, it is.
And specifically what we'd like to talk to you guys about today is great scenes from the Harry Potter books that didn't end up in the movies.
There's so many things that I love from the books that aren't in the movies, and it's especially like I have a lot of friends who somehow never read Harry Potter, and when they finally do, they're like, what? The books are so funny, like I didn't realize.
These range from the heartbreakingly beautiful moments to just like really funny things that we would have loved to enjoy. The movies can't be the same as the books. So this is less of a complaint and more of a suggestion of the things that you are missing if you hadn't managed to read these yet.
Pretty much just going on a nostalgia trip for like how much we love the Harry Potter books.
Make sure you stick around to the end because we actually did a video over on your channel that we will tell you all about later, but you might also want to go and watch that. So if you have not read the Harry Potter books and you're at all concerned about spoilers, you might want to watch another video, perhaps the video that we recorded for Jackson's channel.
Prisoner of Azkaban, which is my favorite movie, but it's also my favorite book. They completely got rid of like the Marauders backstory and like explaining who like Remus and Sirius were in relation to James Potter and that they were the Marauders of the Marauders map.
Such important stuff, you guys.
It would have been so easy to. Okay, but
oh gosh, we can talk about that for hours. In the earlier movies, we get to see Harry at the Dursleys before he goes away to school. In the beginning of Goblet of Fire, the Weasleys come to pick Harry up to bring him to the Quidditch World Cup, and they get stuck in their fireplace because it's an electric fireplace. So the whole Weasley family is trapped.
Ron's dad even went through the trouble of like putting their fireplace into the Flu Network for one day.
Yeah, I mean it worked. They just had to blast the electric fireplace out of the way in order to get out. But I especially enjoy Mr. Weasley being so excited to visit a Muggle house and he wants to know all about their electricity. But that's just like a great little moment. Oh, this is a heartbreaking one.
Yeah.
Finding out how Barty Crouch Jr. got out of Azkaban at the very end of Goblet of Fire. His mother knew that she was dying and she convinced his father to bring her to Azkaban, and they each took Polyjuice potion to turn into each other, and she replaced her son in Azkaban so he could go free and continue his life.
This was one of those that was tough to read as a kid, and like you got that it was like sad and a big deal, but like thinking about it now as an adult, I can't even believe the sacrifice she made, you know? It's a really Lily Potter moment.
Yeah, but the fact that it's coming from the evil side of things is also really amazing, that there are these incredibly strong mothers who would do anything for their children, even if they've made not so great decisions in the past.
Narcissa Malfoy.
Yes, oh my gosh, she's the reason why the ending turned out the way it is. There's some incredible mothers in this series. Rita Skeeter.
This is so good. Okay, so Rita Skeeter was in the movies and she was fantastic, but like my favorite part about Rita Skeeter was how they finally caught her and like made her stop.
Well, the whole time she's publishing all of these stories and twisting everything, but they kept wondering, how does she know this stuff? She has ears everywhere.
I think Harry was explaining what bugging, like electric spy bugging, like putting like little cameras and stuff in places, and that inspired Hermione to realize that Rita Skeeter's an unregistered animagus.
She was turning into a beetle, and Hermione catches her in a jar.
Hermione's just such a badass.
In Order of the Phoenix, after Mr. Weasley gets hurt, his family goes to visit him at St. Mungo's. This is the point where they end up running into Neville at the hospital, and they find out that Bellatrix Lestrange had tortured his parents into insanity, and that they're now living in the hospital. That's why Neville's grandmother has been taking care of him. So Neville's mother comes edging down the ward in her nightdress. She made timid motions toward Neville, holding something in her outstretched hand. Again, said Mrs. Longbottom, sounding slightly weary. Very well, Alice dear, very well. Neville, take it, whatever it is. But Neville had already stretched out his hand, into which his mother dropped an empty Drooble's blowing gum wrapper. Very nice, dear, said Neville's grandmother in a falsely cheery voice, patting his mother on the shoulder, but Neville said quietly, thanks, Mom. And essentially his grandmother suggests, it's okay, Neville, you can just throw it away, but Neville has already, like, kept it and put it into his pocket. Like, this is the most important, beautiful gift that anyone's ever given him.
Maybe it was kept in the movies because it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Especially when you see Neville's transformation, knowing where he came from, knowing what he has to deal with, just to visit his parents on Christmas.
And that was also when we see what happened to Gilderoy Lockhart, too.
Yes!
Because, like, in Chamber of Secrets, Ron's wand backfired and Gilderoy's memory was, like, obliviated, and at the time you're kind of like, yeah, like, he was a liar, and, like, everything's resolved and it's over. And then, like, a couple years later, as the characters and us have grown up, then you, like, actually see like the aftermath of things like that.
This is one of the things that I was kind of upset that was missing from the Half-Blood Prince movie. Not just Voldemort's backstory, but the backstory of his family. We see in one of the first memories his mother, Merope Gaunt, as a child, essentially being abused physically and emotionally by her father. She has the locket around her neck, and she's like pulling her by the neck around the apartment, and she has this crush on this muggle who lives next door. She ended up giving him a love potion because she wanted to be with him so badly. After she became pregnant with his son, who ended up being Voldemort, she thought that maybe she had been with Tom Riddle long enough that she could stop giving him the love potion. He would want to stay with her maybe for their child, and he didn't. After he was no longer under the curse that she put him under, he just totally abandoned her. It was sad to think that that was her idea of love, that she grew up in this house where her family was so awful to her. She thought the only way that someone would ever love her is to force them to.
Yeah, I hadn't quite thought of it from that perspective, like so articulately. Wow. This is why we need a Game of Thrones style TV series of Harry Potter. That's what I would like.
We need so many more hours of this.
At least one season per book, and I just want everything in it.
This scene was in the movies, but the actual lines ended up getting changed. This is such a silly, silly thing, but I love this line so much. In the scene where Harry asks Luna to Slughorn's Christmas party, I think they were in a Transfiguration lesson right before he went to talk to her. The actual assignment in Transfiguration that day was that they were supposed to be changing the color of their own eyebrows. And I think at some point,
really useful skill.
Ron accidentally gives himself a spectacular handlebar mustache, and it just seems like it would have been really adorable and very funny. But when he comes across Luna and thinks, I'm gonna invite her to this Christmas party, I'd love to go with you as friends, said Luna, beaming as he had never seen her beam before. And this is my favorite line in the whole series, probably. But she says, nobody's ever asked me to a party before as a friend. Is that why you dyed your eyebrow for the party? Should I do mine too? I love Luna so much.
I just want that to become a thing. When people start dyeing like one eyebrow.
One eyebrow.
Can we do that at the GeekyCon ball? We'll just show up with one eyebrow.
We could like go as Harry and Luna with the eyebrows dyed.
Wait, yeah.
And it's so obscure. Like I don't even know if anybody caught that.
I didn't remember it before.
When I read this the first time, I stopped and I laughed for about half an hour. So sweet.
Well,
Luna.
That's another example of like a general thing that I kind of miss from the books is all of these like weird mistakes they make in classes when they're practicing spells. Like we see it with like Seamus blowing things up, but you don't get too much more of that. And there's so many just little one-off things in the book, like the spectacular handlebar mustache.
This is one that I really loved, and I believe they filmed this and it was a deleted scene on the DVD. Harry has convinced the Dursleys to go into hiding because he's concerned for their safety right before the war is about to start. They're having this argument, and the people who have come to take the Dursleys into hiding are just appalled at how badly they're treating Harry. Harry says, they think I'm a waste of space actually, but I'm used to it. And Dudley says, I don't think you're a waste of space. And Dudley, appearing to grapple with thoughts too unwieldy for expression, mumbled, you saved my life. From the point that Harry saved Dudley from the Dementors, Dudley looked at Harry in a totally different way. Harry never even noticed.
Yeah.
Out of all the characters to redeem, Dudley gets this lovely goodbye scene.
My biggest thing, apart from the Marauders backstory, I think is Peeves. I'm so sad that Peeves was just never in it.
Oh, the weirdest thing too, because when you go back and reread them after you've seen the movies, Peeves is in so much of the story. Throughout the books, he appears and does something ridiculous and then, you know, disappears.
Oh, and Spew.
Spew!
Like, seeing Hermione start a social justice as misdirected as it kind of was.
She was knitting things and then leaving them in places where she thought the house elves might accidentally pick them up so that she would free them unwillingly.
Not the way to be an activist.
No, but it ended up turning out okay because Dobby found every single one and was like wearing all the hats and all the mittens and so happy about all these clothes that he's collected. Yeah. But she was a little upset. She's like, hey man, you're already free. Just save up for somebody else. We could probably go on about this for a really long time. There are so many great things in these books that the movies never even got to. So what we'd be interested in is if you guys would leave us some comments and tell us what your favorite missing scenes from the movies are. We will join you in the comments and have a conversation, and it'll be really fun.
Let's all geek out about Harry Potter, as always.
So as we mentioned earlier, we actually did a video for Jackson's channel, and it's a crafty video. It's kind of weird that I'm doing the vlog and you have the craft over on your channel, but Jackson waffles things on his channel, so we did a waffle themed craft.
We made these waffle felt embroidery things.
Yeah, so if you'd like to learn how to make this, definitely check out the video for the other channel, and make sure you check out the rest of Jackson's videos because they're super great.
Aw, thank you.
I think you will like them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.